How's it going, Renegades? Coach Pat here, and this is the last week before Crashbcs. Crashbcs are actually this Sunday, March 1st, and we're taking a look again today at the Boston College men as they do their 2K tests last weekend. And this is actually the finish of the race, and there's one thing that I want to highlight to everyone. As it comes down to the wire and as you get down to the end, when you really want to turn it on and get your split down and really, get your race pace where you want it. And it has to do with your heels and how you push, as well as your shins and where you're taking that catch. So if we watch the three different guys in this picture, JP, Kevin, and then Chris, they all have very good technique. They're pretty smooth. They're very connected, very powerful, long and strong. I want to take a look at their shins as well as their heels at the catch when they apply power. So if we actually, in slow motion, take a look here, I'll bring JP, he's the first guy here, up to the catch. His shins get fairly vertical. You see his heels come off the footboards about an inch to an inch and a half. I'll just circle that, so we'll keep an eye on that. As well as his shin. It's hard to tell from this angle, but his shins are fairly vertical. And then if we keep the video going, we can take a look at Kevin here at his catch. So there's his catch. His shins aren't quite vertical. They've got a few degrees on them. So there's his shins at the catch. And we'll circle his heel here. And then let's keep taking it through a little bit further. We can actually see Chris's, so in the background, back behind Kevin there. Here is Chris's catch. And we'll put a line on his shins. Let's actually get rid of that. That was a bad one. Get rid of that. There we go. So we got a line on his shins, and we'll circle his heels and his ankles. I'll make that red actually. Alright, so there's his ankles. So let's just watch it again at full speed. Pick one guy to look at. See where his shins are. And if we actually take it through, and if we just watch that first stroke and see, where all three of them are, because that's where we have our lines drawn, at 1/8 speed, you'll see, they come into the catch, shins become vertical, heels are off the footboards, they pick up the tension on the chain, they push, and their heels get down. You'll notice that JP in the front picks his heels up a little bit more and gets his shins a little more vertical. He gets a little more compression at the catch, whereas Kevin doesn't take his heels off the footboards quite so much, and his shins aren't quite vertical. And then Chris in the background is even different. Let's take it back to the beginning and watch Chris. His heels are almost fully connected to the footboards as we come through right here. So take a look at Chris in the background. His heels are barely off the footboards. His shins aren't really very vertical at all. There's definitely a degree or two. And, that could be a couple different things. Maybe, going down the line, they're less flexible with the ankles. And they're not able to get the ankle flexion needed to get their shins to vertical and keep their heel down. But it's also something that you have a choice to play around with. If you row a little bit shorter and keep your heel a little bit closer to the footboard at the catch, you're able to get it down faster and bring in those muscles from your posterior chain a lot sooner. And therefore you can have a much more powerful stroke mid-drive. Whereas if you take the heels up off footboards, it takes a little bit longer to get those heels down and bring in that power. Of course, it's a trade-off because if your heels come up off the footboards, let's watch quarter speed. We'll watch all of them. If your heels come up off footboards, that means you're essentially getting more length, right? Your handle's getting closer to that gate, and your stroke's a little bit longer. So you might make up for some of the loss in power from not getting your heel down right away. But that's an option you guys have. You can either row longer to create power, or you can row a little bit shorter but put more force into that handle, right? So end all be all, the power we're looking to create, especially at the end of the race, as we want to sprint and finish strong, you calculate that power with 3 variables: force, distance, and time. So the force that you put into the handle, the distance that you move that handle during the stroke, and then how quickly you're rowing, your stroke rating. Because power equals force times distance over time. So what's cool is all these guys are going about the same speed, and they had very similar times, but they're going about it a few different ways. JP in the front here is rowing a little bit longer relative to his size, whereas Kevin is rowing a little bit shorter with his legs and his hips relative to his size, but he's getting his heels down a little bit quicker. And then Chris in the very back is rowing even shorter still, but he's really keeping his heels, or getting his heels down quick and generating a lot of power mid-drive. So that's the trade-off. You either row longer or you row stronger. And ideally, you do both, but that definitely takes some good mobility and some good timing as you take that catch and push through that full foot. So fun things to think about. Hopefully you guys are all getting warmed up and ready to go for Crashbcs. I will see you there. I'll be there all day. Keep an eye out. Say hi if you see me. And once again, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, pat@renegaderowing.com. All right, guys, have a great day.